Good afternoon from Madison Bowl. We are here with the CHL matchup. We have your Mariemont Bowling Warriors, who are 8-4 on the season, a 5-2 record in the CHL, versus FInneytown coming in with a 9-6 record, 4-5 in the CHL. Both teams are towards the middle to bottom of the pack in the CHL. Both are looking to advance here as they are going on. Mariemont, in their last 3 games, they beat Wyoming 2,438 pins to 1,814 pins, beat Winton Woods 1912 to 1508, and they lost to Claremont Northeastern 25-25 to 22-43. FInneytown coming in on a 4-game winning streak. They've beat Winton Woods 1799 to 1084, beat Taylor 2322 to 2044, and beat North College Hill 2206 to 1,482 pins. This should be a matchup for the ages today. Both teams are in their team huddles, getting their final points of reference from their coaches, and they are ready to let the ball roll as we are all ready to go here at Madison Bowl this afternoon. I again am Brian Sugarman, and we are proud to bring this CHL bowling matchup once again between the Mariemont Warriors and the FInneytown Rolling Cats. We do have some bowlers to look forward to today. We have number 1 in the CHL, Dylan Berger. He is bowling an average of 200 pins a game with his 3-game average at 478. Also coming in, who's bowling in the number 2 position, Stephen Banks. Bowling in the 3rd position for Mariemont today, you have Zachary Dutro and Sammy Hinkle filling in at number 4. And we are rounding out the team with Ben Woodruff. Starting for FInneytown this afternoon, and then number 1 bowler, Adam Stymie. At the 2nd bowl, Ben Jeffries. At the 3rd, Max Revel. At the 4th, Nate Heath. And bowling in the 5th position, Ravi Nahalagay is up. And we are about to bowl the first one here at Madison Bowl this afternoon. Casey Dutro stepping up. Dutro lets the ball rip right down the seam, and he starts the day with an 8. FInneytown stepping up. FInneytown on lane 24 gets their first bowl of the day, right down in the seam, and he gets it! A strike to start the afternoon, and we will see Stephen Banks stepping up for the first time this afternoon, starting his afternoon on lane 23. Banks lets it go. He releases it, goes a little left of center, and leaves 2 hanging as Zach Dutro, picks up the spare on his first frame. Stymie, his first gets a strike. FInneytown starting hot with their 1s and 2s, both receiving strikes on their first bowl as we pick up the spare over there with Stephen Banks. No smiling yet, but it's okay. He's ready to roll here at Madison Bowl. Sammy Henkel's first bowl was a 9, so he's going to try and pick up the spare here. As you see, the CHL leader, Dylan Berger, starts the afternoon off with a strike, and you also see Sammy picking up the spare. Pick up the spare here. As you see, the CHL leader, Dylan Berger, starts the afternoon off with a strike, and you also competing over 5 lanes. They will roll 2 individual games where they get to bowl their best bowl of the day. At any point, the coaches could step in and substitute any of their players. So, someone starting off not too hot, they could come in, replace them mid-bowl. So you get a split. Well, you know, sometimes split happens, but all of a sudden you can come in and you can get a new opponent. But once you're out that game, you cannot come back in. Once these two games are over, we'll calculate the scores. We'll let you know how we're doing. And then we start what is the most fascinating to me about bowling is you have a Baker game. Your team of 5 versus their team of 5. One lane going at it. And you alternate frames. It is quite an amazing feat that you get here as we just watched Dylan Berger pick up his second strike. As Banks left one hanging on that second bowl. FInneytown stepping up here. They are closing those frames. FInneytown with a hot start over here on 23 and 24. Now let's take a look over here at 25 and 25 and 26. These are the third and fourth bowlers. And it appears we have an issue that Coach Jim Barr, the first time we're seeing him today, is coming up and trying to settle the score. It appears that we might have somebody bowling on the wrong frame. That happens in bowling once in a while. It is really important to be diligent and pay attention as the game is going on. But don't worry, Coach Jim Barr is taking care of it here at Madison Bowl. As we're waiting, Stephen Banks gets a nice 9 to start off the third frame for himself. Dimey gets another strike. We have a matchup here between Dylan Berger and number 1, Adam Stymie. Both have yet to miss on the strike. And Banks hits the spare. Again, not doing nice. What I've always been told about bowling is do not leave an open frame. So what we're looking for here from all of our bowlers this afternoon is to close those. That means we're getting spares, we're getting strikes, we're keeping it going. But it's fascinating how talented these young men are. As Berger gets in the slot and hits the third strike, he's keeping match with Adam over here. It is a great matchup, and I apologize, I keep calling that Adam. I believe it's actually Ben Jeffries over here who has the 3 strikes, sitting here with a nice opening mark as Banks goes in and throws too much on the head pin, and he gives himself a split. But don't worry, we have faith that he is going to get this. So before the match today, I had a chance to sit down with Dylan Berger, kind of talk to him about the season and what's going on and how he's feeling going into this matchup with FInneytown. The first time FInneytown and Mariemont met this year, it was on Thursday, December 12th, and Mariemont won by a convincing 162 pins. But FInneytown has been doing a lot more as of late, as they've been really putting up some nice bowls together. So it's going to take a little of everything here for Mariemont. But back to Dylan. Dylan was saying that the ball was rolling nice. The lanes were waxed real well, and it's not necessarily how you bowl. The ball's just got to spin the right way, he said. Looks like it's coming off his hand a little. That one's going to be a little right, and he got the last pin there. It was hanging on for a near shot there. Dylan showing some excitement as he closes that fourth frame with a strike. Our good friend over there, Ben Jeffries, again trying to match, but they came up short in the fourth frame. Ben is sitting there with an 81 after 4 frames as his counterpart is on 2 strikes going to the next one. Now let's look over to 25 and 26 as we analyze those scores. Mariemont coming in with a 37 and 34 around the third frame there. And FInneytown not started too hot on their third and fourth bowlers. So we look for them to pick it up quite a bit, but to this point have not truly matched. And way over there in lane 27 and 28, we have the number 5 bowler from both teams. You have Ben Woodruff and you have Ravi Nahalagay over there. Ravi is having a nice little match for himself on 5 and 6, has 2 strikes. bowling a 46 after 4, but looks to advance that number. And then Ben Woodruff trying to hold his own over there, but leaving too many open frames, and has 58 after his 6th frame. But we're moving back to Dylan Berger. Berger in the 5th frame over here. He's throwing his lucky red bowling ball as it goes. It's spinning with an 8-degree spin, and he gets another one. He is now 5 frames in, 5 strikes. And Finneytown trying to pick up the spare right next door, but had a split. Unfortunately, could not pull it off. So when we look at some of Mariemont's stats as we're talking here, obviously Dylan Berger, one of the best in the area, leading the league in pins per game. But Mariemont overall has bowled 25 games this year. They have knocked down 19,844 pins, which is averaging 793.8 per match, which a high of 1,747. And that is just the regular portion of it. When we get into those Baker games, they've thrown 42 Baker games. Their high score is 248, and that is the last time we broadcast one of these games. So you never know. We may see a record break in here today. That's all we can ever wish for here. But Dylan Berger coming in, his series high is 478. His high bowl of the season is a 266, and we're looking to see if we can beat that this afternoon. Our second bowler, Stephen Banks, is right there with Sammy Hinkle. Both have had fantastic seasons. Stephen Banks was a second-team All-CHL last season for Mariemont. Dylan Berger was a first team, and we've talked about him a few times, but Coach Jim Barr, in his first season as the head coach of the Mariemont bowling team, was named the CHL Coach of the Year, which was a fantastic honor for him. Coach Barr says he's a self-admitted terrible bowler. Said you don't want to see him bowl, but he knows how to coach. So when you're looking at a coach, it's not always about how you do it yourself, but can you coach, motivate, and get your team to do much better. Casey Dutro stepping up, looking to get the spare, and he missed one pin there. It is so unfortunate. Mariemont seems to be struggling just a little to pick up the strikes overall, but Dylan Berger seems to be holding them back in here. And again, we're here just as a boys match today. The ladies are to my far right. They are practicing today, which is super important. And Dylan on the 6th frame leaves one hanging to the right. Great shot, just goes a little left of center and was not able to pull it off. But now we start seeing some of those numbers coming in. Dylan, after 4 frames, was at 119, which was significantly over any of his counterparts in his matchup, and looks to be the lead for Mariemont here as Dylan picks up that spare. And again, leaving no frame untended. Ben Woodruff sitting over there, struggling to get there in the 9th frame. Again, looking to advance and get right in that 110, 120 range, which is significant for our bowlers. Banksy stepping up and picks up this middle pin. Unfortunately, I didn't see the one hanging on there, but hey, it happens. My good friend Michael over here. Michael's running the cameras for us, and I know you can't necessarily hear him, but Michael, did you know the best football players are also super bowlers? That's right. That's a timely joke there, because the best football players are also super bowlers. That's right. That's a timely joke. Millions and millions of fans got as much of a crack out of that one as I did. But don't worry, I got some more. We'll keep coming with them later today. My goal is lots of bowling puns as we do it. Dylan seems to be off his rocker right now and left a frame open there in his 7th frame. Again, ball's coming out nice today. He's really doing a nice job. So after this first game, we're going to try and get Coach Jim Barr on the headset and try and interview him, talk about some of the stuff that's going on in these games. He seems to be pacing right now. Not exactly happy with what he sees, but definitely working on it. Our friend on 24 with the double hand approach. That is one I have not tried, but I think you get more spin if you use both hands. You couldn't see, but I was trying to analyze that in my head. So I think with the second hand, you whip the wrist a little there, and it gets a better spin on the ball. Last time we were here, there was lots of talk about the uniforms. It was pretty incredible, the uniform situation that was going on. But Mariemont finally got theirs in. They are dressed to a T here. They are in yellow and blue of Mariemont colors with the Mariemont logo on the back and Warriors written very cleanly across the back. The Bowling Wildcats are here with a Wildcat jumping out of the F that stands for FInneytown with Wildcats on the back. They're here in a light baby blue, so both teams are doing a nice job of working together here. So, you can only talk so much bowling by yourself, which is just the honest truth here. It is fascinating, it's awesome, but as scores and things update and do all of that stuff, it is rather difficult at times. But we're going to get Michael Ryan on the broadcast here soon. Michael is going to do double duty for us. He's going to do camera and talk about bowling. So welcome to the broadcast, Michael.
Hi, how are you?
Great. It's great to have you on here. I'm going to adjust your mic there a little. But so we're still looking. We're in the 9th and 10th frame. It looks like we're talking some strategy here. Are there timeouts in bowling?
I'm not sure.
I'm not sure either, but we're going to learn it. But Coach is looking like he might be making a substitution here. Looks like Brody Boswell's coming in, taking the spot of Stephen Banks, it appears. I don't feel it's an injury. Boswell may be good at picking up this spare.
I don't know. Boswell's got a cool name, so maybe he'll be able to do it, but not really sure about that one.
Yeah, I'm really interested to see. I've never seen this in the middle of a bowl, making a substitution. Boswell is just over here analyzing it. Looks like Banks is still in the game, so he's not getting. But Boswell making his way over here, and they're looking to make some substitutions as we go. But we do have one final on lane 5 over there after round 1, bowl round, frame 1, game 1. Let's go with game 1. After game 1, FInneytown had 182 pins to Mariemont's 102. So after one complete game, it appears that FInneytown is up 80 points on Mariemont. But don't worry, Michael, I know this might be your first bowling broadcast, but I'm going to give you some pointers here, okay?
Okay, all right.
Just don't worry, because I'm right up your alley with this. And, I don't know bowling all that well, but I'm going to keep giving bad puns. So we're going to go with it. But
right.
Banks gets a strike. That's what we needed to see from Banks. I'm excited to see that. He's coming back strong to end the first game, going into the 10th frame. And Berger has a split here and almost picked the split up, but he is struggling. He started with 6 strikes to start, 5 strikes, and has left a couple hanging now. But it's okay. We will let him keep getting his things. Hopefully he gets a little more motivated, and he will be good to go. But he's doing double duty. He's right back up to bowl again with the lucky red ball, and he got back on track. We love seeing that as he gets a strike. We're seeing some energy out of the Mariemont team. It's an exciting day. He's pulling it back up. Dylan even did his hair for us this afternoon. FInneytown having some nice, they're number 1 and number 2 over here. That's Mr. Adam and Ben having a nice first match here as Adam completes game number 1 here. He's bowling in his 10th frame. He throws the two-handed spin, and he got a strike to start the 10th frame. Oh, I apologize. That was Ben. It is hard keeping track. There are 5 bowlers at the same time. This is not like basketball where all 5 are involved with 1 ball. You're sitting here at a bowling alley. There's 6 lanes, 5 bowlers, lots of bowling balls, and it is just an incredible atmosphere here at Madison Bowl. I see fans, friends, family, and even some random spectators that were just here to have a good day are coming over and supporting these bowling teams. I wish more of our student athletes and students at Mariemont would come out and support our bowling team, because truly they put in a lot of practice, a lot of work, and are masters at their craft. Henkel just bowled himself a strike. That was a nice little bowl from Henkel. As we do, Ben Woodruff is stepping into the game here and almost got it. So Woodruff coming in the 10th frame to try and pick up the spare. He bowled himself a 132 with Stephen Banks. So let's see what FInneytown's doing. Both of them scored a little better than Banks this first round. We're going to try and get the score after the first round of individual games and see where we're standing. But Dylan seems to be falling off the pace just a little as he left himself a 4-7-6-10 split. The numbers are on the wall. That's why I can do that. You see that? Right next to Madison Bowl.
Yeah.
I'm becoming a bowling master here, but Dylan is going to right down the middle. I think he went for the field goal there, so he's in Super Bowl mode as well. All right, but they're getting motivated. They're getting pumped up. They know they need a big second game out of both of them.
Sugarman, how about we get you out there, let you bowl?
So, funny you say that. So, Coach Barr and I were talking the other day, and I was going bowling with some friends on a Wednesday evening, and asked Coach Barr for some pointers. So what pointers do you think, if you were a bowling coach, Michael, what pointers would you give?
Well, considering I haven't bowled since I was about 10 years old, my knowledge on bowling is a little limited, but I would say the most important thing is throwing the ball as fast as you can, or rolling it, I'm sorry.
Okay, so, I always thought that too, and I said, maybe I can get a lighter ball, 10 pounds, 12 pounds, and just whip it down, because my whole idea was you hit the pins, they spatter, right?
Yeah.
Coach Barr gave me a different little angle on that. He said use a heavier ball and throw it straight. That was his point. He said take the ball, throw it harder because of the impact. There's some physics in that. Maybe we should bring Mr. Radloff in here next week. He can give us a physics lesson on bowling. That's actually a lot of fun. We should do a.
He would be our celebrity guest.
He should be our celebrity guest. But so, you throw it, and throwing it straight. That is the key to all of this. Just throw the ball straight. I actually bowled a 176 in that first game, but here's why I could not do what these gentlemen do. I got lucky. After that, I bowled a 110.
110.
So, I can show greatness at times. Or luck at times, I would call it. But the consistency is just not there. So ending the first game here, we had Banks bowl 132. Dylan Berger came in with a 198. And FInneytown finished their number 1 and 2 bowlers. That is Adam Stymie, bowled a 165. And FInneytown's number 2, Ben Jeffries, bowled a 200. So looking at that right now, we had 365 for FInneytown, and we had 240 for Mariemont. So it does appear that Mariemont is leading. No, they would be losing. I apologize. They would be losing on the 1s and 2s. But don't worry, we have Coach Barr sitting over here. He is calculating all of the numbers for us, and we're going to see what it looks like going into game number 2. But just a quick look across, it does appear that FInneytown is up on us after the first round of bowling.
Mr. Sugarman, if you were Coach Barr, what would you preach to your team about what they need to do better in the second game and what they need to keep doing well?
Absolutely. So if I'm looking and analyzing what I've watched out here in bowling, is there is a lot of inconsistencies. So the boys are getting on streaks, they're throwing hot, they're doing this, but then they're letting it get to them. So for instance, if we look at Dylan Berger over here, Dylan bowled 5 strikes, feeling good. He let it slip a little, and then there started splits coming. So Dylan got in his head. I saw him looking around, talking to his friends, and just lost a little focus in there. So I would really look at them and say, look, we're the better team. We beat them last time. They're coming at us. They're bowling good right now, but let's focus in. Let's get this, and let's have a big second game going into the Baker game, because don't worry, the Baker game is where it's at. We got FInneytown huddling up over there. And if I'm FInneytown's coach, what are you telling them? They're beating a team that they lost to by almost 200 pins previously. What are you telling your team right now, Michael?
What I would tell FInneytown is keep going. Keep the pressure up on them. Keep bowling well, and just keep the pressure going. Last time they did lose by a lot, but right now they got up on us, and I feel like they just need to keep going, keep applying the pressure.
I would agree. I think, looking at their scores, they've been scoring in the mid 2,200 range, so they've picked it up as the season's gone on. They've really done a nice job of getting to that point. Mariemont's been very consistent throughout the entire season, but we're looking to pick it up now as the gentlemen are cleaning off their bowling balls as we are ready to start this second game. But Casey Jutro started off with a 9. Let's close those frames. That's the other message I would be saying if I am Coach Barr, is let's close these frames. Let's leave nothing open.
What would you be telling Dylan Berger as your leader on your team? What would you be telling him to focus on and keep doing?
As a senior leader, it's challenging because you got to focus on your game, but you also want to encourage and pump up and get the rest of your team excited. So what I would tell Dylan is do your thing, get up there, forget about what you're doing, because once it gets in your head, it's over, and it's all these different sports. So let's see, can Banks start off on a better note this second game as he throws it? And got it! He got a spare to keep this going. So nice start for Stephen Banks here to start. That's kind of what we need. A couple good frames at the beginning, get excited, and just let it ride into the championship here. As FInneytown's number 3, that's Max. Max picks up the spare early on as we are seeing both teams come out strong, and Dylan gets his first bowl. New game, new attitude, and left one hanging. Almost had a split there, but a little gust of wind from the gutter helped him knock that one down. If I really had to say this, there's not a moment to spare. We just need to go. There's only 10 frames. Don't let it happen. There's not a moment to spare. Let's get in there and let's get going. Dylan also starts with a spare for the game. So we're looking for the first strike of the second match over here on lanes 23 and 24. We do have one from Mariemont's number 4. But here we go. Stepping up. The ball. The pitch. And it's a strike for FInneytown. FInneytown is starting strong, keeping the pressure on as our Warriors are trying to get back into this match. But as we've talked about, there are 4 Baker games to end this, so we will see what they can come for. But Michael, you were not on the headset, but I thought of another thing that we really need to, if I'm Mariemont's coach, Jim Barr, what I'm telling them is, it's bowling. We've got no time to spare. We've just got to go at it and get it right from the beginning. Banks, just pushed that bowling. We've got no time to spare. We've just got to go at it and get it right from the beginning. Banks, Dylan stepping up. We need a strike here. Dylan releases the ball. It's spinning, and he gets it into the middle. He gets a strike and is starting. Mr. Sammy Hinkle stepping up. Hinkle bowled a strike to start the second match here, and let's see what he is going to do with his second ball. We are quite excited as Banks steps up, releases the ball. This one looks good from the onset and did not finish. There was not enough rotation on that ball, says Dylan as he's trying to coach him up. Sammy Hinkle goes backside and gets the strike. He's got 2 to start the second match here, which is fantastic for Coach Barr to see, as Sammy, who's been picking out more and more as he's been going. But we need to see Mariemont picking up pins as they go. 1 pin here, 2 pin there. We just need them to start getting closer because of our worldwide audience watching today. We need this victory. We are 1-0 broadcasting bowling. We've got to keep that perfect record. Special shout out to our administration at Mariemont High School. Yep, that's you, Mr. Trevor Block. We appreciate all you've done. And Dr. Jim Renner, we appreciate your support of the Warriors Broadcast Network. Coming live today from Madison Bowl. And Dylan was excited about those shout outs. He threw a strike. So, I'm just letting you know here, Michael. I've got a pun brewing right now. After Dylan's next bowl, I could let you know something. But I'm going to hold it on. I'm going to make you think about that for a while, all right? In life, that's called a cliffhanger, all right? I learned that back in school. So we're going to leave you with a little cliffhanger here. Maybe some foreshadowing as well. But Hinkle leaving that one open, unfortunately, after a nice start to the game. Mr. Woodruff subbing in over there for Mariemont's 5th. He's taking the place, Brody subbing in over there for Ben Woodruff. Looks like we're getting some decent uptake from Mariemont here. Stephen Banks having a better game, but it also appears that FInneytown has fallen off just a little, and they're giving that little glimmer of hope for Mariemont to inch their way back into this game. We've got hands raised in the audience. I have no idea what this means, but they are getting excited as he's got 1 single pin, and he got it. What we're going to have to get some information on what the hand raised is. So let's see if we can get some magic in here. We're going to call Lucas onto the broadcast here. Lucas Wilner, welcome to the broadcast. You are live on the Warriors Broadcast Network, going live here from Madison Bowl. So we just happened to notice, Lucas, that during this last bowl by Stephen Banks, everyone put their hands in the air. What is that?
So whenever someone bowls and they don't get a strike, there's only 1 pin left. Everyone who puts their hands up is saying, we kind of don't want you to make it because if you miss, you owe us a pop. So everyone with their hands up gets a pop if they miss. If they don't miss, then, they got a spare.
Now, does he know that your hands are raised?
Oh, no. No.
Okay.
He
but
just, he
but
gets
is
to turn
this
around.
is this bowling? So like he knows if he misses that one, he's gonna have to go to the concession stand, buy everyone a Coca-Cola.
Oh yeah, he turns around. He gets to see who noticed what he was doing, and like, it's the pressure that you get put on afterwards. But it's also the satisfaction of, yeah, I made that spare. I owe you nothing.
Now, is it a specific pin?
No, you just
It could be
just
any
one
pin.
pin.
And let's see, Dylan Berger gets in and gets another strike. He's coming on strong. We need every pin to catch up to FInneytown. We were down after that first match. We were down 912 for FInneytown after game one total to 769.
It's a tough score to make up.
We definitely need to get some pins here. So bring Lucas on the broadcast here. Lucas was one of our students who took advantage of one of our global education programs, and Lucas attended the Global Leadership Summit this summer. Lucas, how was it?
It was fantastic.
Where'd you go?
Well, we spent a few days in France, and then we finished up with the Global Leadership Summit in Switzerland. It was beautiful. Got to spend some time in the mountains. Got to meet a bunch of new people, and most importantly, I was standing at the top of the Eiffel Tower.
You were up at the Eiffel Tower. I did join you on this leadership summit. I did choose not to go up the Eiffel Tower this time. I've been up previously and enjoyed the lights of it because we were there when it was lighting up. I enjoyed that from the ground. It was a new experience for me. But the summit itself, it's a leadership summit. You go there, you try and learn a bunch of leadership skills. Tell me your favorite part of the actual summit when we were there.
My favorite part of the actual summit, so we're standing in this room, and we're paired with a bunch of people I've never met before. I don't even know their names, much less where they're from. And we all sat down, and without even discussing names, we started just talking about how we could help solve a problem. And we worked on talking about solving different communication problems that anyone could have, deciding what we could do to fix any random problem that anyone could possibly have. For us, we tried to help fix language barriers. We didn't do too hot, but it was the communication that we had that was more important in the moment.
That is part of it, and your theme of the conference was the power of communication. So I love hearing about communication and how you had to break down some barriers. There were students in your groups who didn't speak English. There were some with different dialects from different parts of the United States. But it's truly an incredible atmosphere. If you could tell somebody who's on the fence whether they want to go or not, what is the one thing you would tell them?
Well, if I'm being honest,
Please, I would hate for you not to be honest. We're all about honesty here. I mean, we want the ball to be honest. We want it to stay out of the gutter. So
that is true.
Just make sure you're not in the gutter in your honesty here, okay?
While going to France was beautiful, and I enjoyed every aspect of it, and I got to see tons of art. That wasn't the best part. The best part was getting together and meeting these new people that I've never seen before, but I still keep in contact. I talk with different people on Instagram because I can talk with them while they're in France. I can talk with them while they're in Germany. I have one friend in Colombia right now, and they're all great people that I'm so excited I got to meet. And it was just the new people that made everything so much better no matter where I was.
That is the name of the game here is go experience the world and become a globally competent student, which is on our mission statement for Mariemont schools. But you are a walking, living replica of exactly that type of student because you took advantage of such an amazing opportunity, and we couldn't be more glad. But I've stalled from the actual reason we're all here, which is bowling. Talk about something near and dear to my heart. So travel, it's an amazing experience. But let's check back in this game. So let's see. Dylan trying to pick up the spare here. He didn't have two. I was going to get in the game and put my hand up as I'm getting thirsty doing this broadcast. I thought maybe I could. So let's see. Dylan trying to pick up the spare here. He didn't have two. I was going to get in the game and put my hand up. We're going to get Michael back in line here. But back to bowling. That's why you're all tuning in. That's why you're all listening to us. And again, a crazy little stat here after game one. We are down quite a few pins, but we are working our way back into this match. After the first matchup, we were down 133 pins, Michael.
Sugarman, I just got to say, that was some impressive math right there.
Yeah, once in a while. I did in my, in my previous 10 years before I came to Mariemont, I was a third grade math teacher. So lots of addition, lots of subtraction, a lot of that stuff. But now I'm broadcasting bowling, and I love every minute of it. Just one of the many unique things that the Warriors Broadcast Network and Warriors Beyond program can bring to Mariemont schools that make us just a little bit different than everybody else, which I think is what makes Mariemont really special.
Yes, I would say that, and our support for our sports teams. I mean, if you look at this arena right now, it is sold out, packed. The cheerleaders are cheering in the corner. We have students leading our student section in different chants every single time Dylan, Stevie, or any other bowling person gets up there.
I would agree. I actually got checked at the door. They were doing standing room only, and I didn't have a ticket. But I let them know that I was part of the Warrior Broadcast Network, and that holds a lot of clout. So they definitely let us in the door for that one. I mean,
Show them the badge.
I don't see anyone else in this area calling bowling, so this is unique, this is great, and I think it's really an amazing experience for our students. We're actually getting videotaped right now by the gentleman to our right. We're famous. Oh, and a nice spare picked up from FInneytown. He looked surprised when he picked that one up. Still looking surprised. That's my good friend Ben Jeffries. We haven't really met, but he is my best friend over there. So, by the way, I totally forgot. I couldn't do my punt. Dylan didn't come through for me, so just it's still on the back burner. Don't you worry.
But what was the pun?
Oh, we'll get there.
We're going to get there?
We'll get there. It might have to be a Baker game pun, but we'll see what we're going. But, you know, one of my favorite stores growing up as a kid was Toys R Us, right? Mm-hmm. I need Mariemont to pick this up, and we need Strikes R Us in this bowling alley right now. Right? Mm-hmm. I need Mariemont to pick this up, and we need Strikes R Us in this bowling alley right now. He's going to go right, left, and release, spinning to the left to right, and he got the strike. Look at that. We should call that every time like that. That was so exciting to go. Right, left, and release, spinning to the left to right, and he got the strike. Look at that. We should call that every time. Here, that match number 5 over there is completed. FInneytown picking up even more pins over there. FInneytown picked up 28 more pins on the 5th bowler, but Banksy says no, and he puts that strike in as Dylan picks up his spare as well. It does appear that we are picking up a few pins over here on the Warriors 1 and 2 lanes. On the 3 and 4 lanes, Mariemont also doing a nice job as they're trying to get back into this game. This could be exciting going into the Baker games. I think what Mariemont's going to have, I'll hold on to that one for a second. But Dylan gets another strike here. This is the way. I think what Mariemont's going to have, I'll hold on to that one for a second. But Dylan gets another strike here.
Baker games.
That's a heck of a question. You know, I think it's because you get everybody in the kitchen together. They're all going to share the same utensils, and ultimately, we want to put together the greatest dessert possible. So, why else is it called a Baker game? Because everyone's coming to the kitchen for one communal goal, and that is to win and make the best dessert possible. How's that sound to you?
Good answer, but let's ask Coach Barr.
I think we're going to go with it. But the good news is, you know, we are at Madison Bowl. And even though it's one of the older bowling alleys in the area, they do have internet. But Coach Barr is right behind you, so should we ask him?
Let's go.
Coach Barr, we have a quick question for you on the broadcast. Why is it called Baker Game? He doesn't know either. My idea stands. We're going with it. It's because everybody comes into the kitchen and they all use the same utensils, and they come up with one dessert. Yeah, we're thinking his name is Baker, but we're gonna do a quick internet search here. So Baker Game.
Wonder if it's Baker Mayfield.
Probably not Baker Mayfield, but Banks coming in strong on the 10th frame, throws a first strike. Can he get 2 more? That would be a great way to close out the individual games, as Dutro gets 1 too. He pulled 3 strikes in a row, and guess what? Do you know Zachary Dutro's favorite holiday?
What is his favorite?
It's Thanksgiving, because he loves the turkey. 3 strikes is called a turkey, Michael. I'm sorry I had to reference that for you, but Zachary Dutro loves Thanksgiving because of turkeys. And Banks gets 1 too. We are coming in strong at the end. This is what we need heading into the Baker games. And Banks gets 1 too. We are coming in strong at the end. This is what we need heading into the Baker. In the 10th frame here, and he picked it up. That was awesome. Now we're looking for 1 strike. Let's get 10 more pins in this as we are going. What's helping Mariemont now is FInneytown's number 4, Nate Heath, is struggling this match. Had a great match last time, but is struggling, but coming on strong at the end. Do you think Dylan can pick up 3 strikes here to end the second individual game?
I think Dylan can pick up those 3 strikes. He's an amazing bowler, and he's got a great group of people behind him, especially Steven Banks. You can tell after every single time they go up there, they're always giving each other high fives. They're always trying to pump each other up. It's a great team environment, and they got the fans and crowd behind them.
Absolutely. I couldn't have said it better myself, Michael, as they are in this together. It truly is an individual but team sport, and it's great to see.
Fans and crowd behind them.
Absolutely. I couldn't have said it better myself, Michael, as they are in this together. It truly is an individual. And let's see, can he pick up 1 more? A strike here would give him 30 for that 9th frame. He would have 186 if he could pull this off. He could bowl a 216, I believe, if my math is correct, if he just strikes out. But he left 1 hanging, unfortunately. So we are not going to see a 216, but it does look like he will bowl over a 200 for this last game. All right, he bowled a 205, and we had a 177. So Dylan's talking to his father, getting some points, is excited about his 205. I think we've got some energy building going into the Baker games here, as Dutro finished very nicely. Actually, if I'm not mistaken over there, Mr. Dutro, high score of the afternoon with a 212.
Bowling, he's doing an amazing job. He's been on fire all day today, and he's continuing his streak. As
the 3rd bowler, you're not necessarily expecting that all the time. But in order to get back into the game, in order to give yourself a chance to win, this is what you need to do. So, go ahead now, please.
I also think with Stevie and Dylan both being seniors, the underclassmen, they're looking to be the next person for this team. With these guys graduating this year, they're looking to step up and take control. Obviously, Dylan and Steven leaving the team, it's a big loss because they're 2 great bowlers, but they're trying to step up and fill their shoes. Sorry.
Absolutely. You couldn't be more right. Great senior leadership, bridging the gap for the next set. So, I have an answer for you. The scoring system of a Baker game was named after Frank K. Baker, who designed the system in the 1950s. So, it is called Baker game because of a Baker. Frank Baker.
Dutro, 5-bagger right there.
Yeah, we had a 5-bagger, which is what you call 5 strikes in a row, and he got 5 of them in a row. Now, Michael, I know you weren't on our last broadcast. This was brought to my attention. Do you know what 6 strikes is called? And no, it's not a double turkey, or as some might try and reference it, a stuffed turkey. That is not the name of it.
Steven did explain this to me. He said that a 6-1, or that would be called a 6-pack, and then above would be a 7-bagger, 8-bagger, and 9-bagger. I don't know why those are all the same. I think someone just got lazy when it came to naming it. Do you know what 1, 2, and 3 are? I forget what those are.
Well, 1's called a strike.
Oh, yeah.
2, let's make one up and call it a deuce.
Okay. Actually, I think that's what it is.
3's called a turkey. And then you got a 4-bagger, a 5-bagger, I love the 6-pack reference. 7-bagger, 8-bagger, 9-bagger. And do you know what it's called if you bowl strikes the entire game?
Perfect game.
It is a perfect game, but we should never talk about that. Just as like in baseball, we should never do that. It appears we are waiting for one more gentleman to throw a ball on 26. We weren't sure Sammy was going to get it, but here comes Kenny strikeout here. He got 8. He got 8, but that works for us. Bowling, also one of the only things in your life you can do where if you get 3 strikes, you're not out. You just got yourself a turkey. Now, if I was a true bowler, I know what I'd have for dinner every day. If I bowled 3 strikes in a row, I'd have turkey every night.
You'd have turkey every night?
Every night.
Mr. Strickman, I want to see you after all this is done. I want to see you out there bowling. Let's see what you got.
Yeah, I don't have shoes.
You don't need those.
Well,
And plus, they got them already here.
I don't think I need them, but the bowling alley may not appreciate it. Now, let's go, what do you think? If I bowled 2 frames,
2 frames. Okay.
what do you think I would do? You think I would do okay? I mean, there might be a possibility we could go over to the girls practicing over there, and they might let me throw one.
I would love to see that. We'll make sure we get that on film. We should definitely try and do that. I don't know. I've never seen you bowl before. You look like you're a pro, though, so I'm going to say you're going to go back-to-back with 2 strikes.
Oh, back-to-back with 2 strikes. Now,
Deuce.
that is asking for a lot.
How about 1 strike?
I'm willing to try it over here. I'd have to find the right ball and all of that, but here we go.
Is the
We
Baker game?
are starting a Baker game. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is what we have all been waiting for. Mariemont versus FInneytown in the Baker games.
I know everyone in this building right now is sitting on pins and needles. Nope, okay.
We are definitely on pins and needles. Heading into the Baker games, we are at, oh my goodness, ladies and gentlemen, Mariemont made their way back. They are leading going into the Baker games 1,650 pins to 1,617 pins. Mariemont is up 33 pins.
FInneytown blowing the lead, just like the Warriors did, 3-1 to the Cleveland Cavaliers. And I know that made you pretty happy.
That made me extremely happy. I am a Cleveland Cavaliers fan. We'll make that. But heading into the Baker game, we are 33 pins. We can track this much easier, just so you know. So we are up 33 pins, and we will see what happens. Dylan, how we feeling? Dylan's feeling great. He's ready for the Baker games. They had a great second bowl. Guys are all coming with some energy into the Baker game. Finneytown's huddling up again. So, moving into the Baker game. Finneytown, last time they huddled like that, didn't work out so well. What do you think the coach is telling them right now?
I think their coach is telling them they have to come back and they have to do what they did in the first game. They dominated the first game. They got to come back and do the exact same thing. I feel like they kind of saw the lead. They figured they could coast to the end, but not when you have Dylan Berger and Stephen Banks. They are the comeback kids.
All right, here we go. Zachary Dutro stepping up for the first bowl in the Baker game. Releases it. Gets in and leaves 2 hanging. What I love about the Baker game is the team camaraderie with it. So notice he throws one, maybe not his best bowl of the day. Still gets high fives from all his team. But you should see when they get a strike, Mariemont cheers. And it is exciting.
Not just his team behind him, but he also has the entire love of the Mariemont student section. They are cheering their hearts out, trying to get everyone pumped up and going.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So Finneytown also did not pick up the strike there, but Dutro let it slip, hit it into the gutter. Not the way Mariemont wanted to start this, but let's see. It may not matter if Finneytown cannot pick up the single. I'm going to get my hand in the air. If this kid misses, I apparently get a Sprite. we're trying to learn the styles here. I'm getting thirsty. I was told I could go get a Sprite, so. Oh, we do have a substitution in this Baker game as well. It looks like Ben Woodruff coming back into the action. Not happy with his first bowl. Looked pretty disappointed in his smile there, but we are really looking for him to get this spare. We need a spare here. FInneytown bowling the ball here and leaves a split in the middle of the lane. As Woodruff comes to pick up the spare, he throws it and got it. What a great second bowl. He got excited, I got excited, Mike got excited, and the cheerleaders and the fans. All we need here is the Mariemont High School band. Could you imagine?
Exactly. We should get the band to come to the next game.
I think we need to talk to Mr. Jimmy Galloway, our beloved band director, and just imagine as somebody's stepping up, you've got the horns blowing, you've got the drums beating, and you're leaving pins up. Maybe the vibration of the drums could knock one of those pins over. I don't know. But FInneytown leaving the door open for Mariemont to stay ahead of this game. After 2 frames, it's 27-26. Boy, do we have ourselves a game here. But Sammy coming up with a big spare here, which was important. FInneytown also leaving one up. Not the best bowling that we've seen tonight. Both teams struggling to get some consistency as Banks looks to change that around for Mariemont here as he releases the ball. It's spinning right to left, and he hits the head pin a little too high and leaves 2 hanging. Here comes the Wildcats, who also pick up the spare, putting the pressure on Mariemont to go. FInneytown getting a little excited there if you heard that. Cheering, shouting, and cheering one another on. Banksy picks up the spare as well. Banksy. I do. I think he, we've talked about it earlier, is that senior leader wants to lead by example. So let's see. He's going to do a 6-step approach, it appears. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The ball's released, and it's good. And he left a split and is not happy with what just happened. It's going over to the side rack to pick up a different ball. Maybe spins a little differently, maybe a little heavier. I don't know the ideas behind that, but let's see. Can Dylan pick up this important spare for the Warriors? He just went conservative and knocked down 2. So after 5 frames, Mariemont 70. And FInneytown seems to be taking their time as they have only completed 3 frames. But get another spare. Apparently, our gentleman from FInneytown is the Messiah.
Yeah, I can't really see the pins, that's why I'm not zooming in.
Ravi gets himself a strike. And some energy coming from FInneytown. FInneytown putting on the pressure as Mariemont and Dutro. There we go. We got FInneytown putting on the pressure as Mariemont and Dutro. Had a heck of an afternoon for himself. Really doing a nice job. Hopefully FInneytown leaves the door open, but the young gentleman from FInneytown got a strike, looked as surprised as anyone, turns around and was going to cheer with his team but forgot what to say. But it is okay as Ben Woodruff steps up and gets himself 8 pins. He needs to go get 2 more as we need these points to keep coming off for the Warriors. FInneytown has to leave the door open, but they are not. They are doing a great job of keeping the pressure on. I guess the good news is there's 4 Baker games. Woodruff, can he get the spare? We need the spare. Can he get it? He did get it. That keeps us going. I hear noises coming from all over. It's the fans in this place are going absolutely crazy. As FInneytown leaves 2 standing, they have left the door open for Mariemont to come back as Sammy steps up to the lane. On lane number 23, takes a 4-step approach, releases the ball. It's down, it's curving, it hits the head pin too much on, and he leaves 2 standing. The 10 and 3 are still there. FInneytown, is he going to pick up this spare? He did get the spare. FInneytown having a nice game. It appears our Wildcats from both teams have all unique chants that they like doing. Keeps the fun in the game as Sammy found a way to curve through that chants that they like doing. Keeps the fun in the game as Sammy found a way to curve a split, a strike, or spare. Ooh, but an accidental mistake on FInneytown, throwing one of the first gutter balls I've seen all afternoon, really trying to leave the door open as Banks and then Berger step up.
Mariemont's got the 2 closers coming in. You know Stephen Banks and Dylan Berger are both going to step up during this time and get the win for Mariemont.
Absolutely, and when you're just up 33 pins, you need to get every pin in here, and Banks does what he needs to do. So, Mariemont keeping the blue, and when you're just up 33 pins, you need to get every pin in here, and Banks does what he needs to do. So, and he left one hanging, which is huge for Mariemont, with Dylan stepping up, and hopefully a turkey on the 10th frame. He left it, got it! He got lucky there and does his famous, and hopefully a turkey on the 10th frame. He left it, got it! He finishing out the first Baker game for FInneytown with a strike here. They are at 173. Dylan with he left one hanging. It was a good bowl, but did not get that. Ravi throws the second one in. Left a little hanging there. So the best FInneytown could end in this game would be a 183. And it appears after Baker game 1, Mariemont will still keep a slight advantage with 165 in the first Baker game. And we'll see what FInneytown can pick up here. FInneytown left one hanging, and they end with a 182. So, Mariemont is up 16 pins heading into the second Baker game. We have a matchup here. We knew it was being close. FInneytown's been advancing. They've been doing a very nice job. They've been working their tails off. Mariemont, again, just needs to have a solid second match here. So the teams will switch sides. They'll bowl on opposite lanes here, with Mariemont now bowling on lane 24 and the FInneytown Rolling Cats on lane 23.
Mr. Sugarman, as I'm looking around in this arena, I mean, everyone is on the edge of their seat, cheering, chanting, cheering their Warriors on, trying to help them win this game.
I wouldn't even say they're on the edge of their seat. Nobody's sitting in this place. Everybody is on their feet, cheering, chanting, and hollering as Dutro leaves himself a split.
I tell you, the Mariemont
to
bowling
start
team,
the 24, on lane 24, I apologize.
tell you, the Mariemont bowling team is no short on passion. You got Zach Dutro cheering on his teammates after every time they go up. And you got Dylan Berger and Stephen Banks also helping out, giving that senior leadership.
Absolutely. Let's see. We want Dutro to pick this spare up, but we might be content with just getting 2 pins here to start on this one.
Nah,
as he
go
throws
for the spare.
and gets a field goal to start the half. He must be ready for Super Bowl, which comes to you live next Sunday. I actually don't think we're allowed to use those 2 words together on a broadcast. I think they're copyright.
I don't think they'll notice.
But we are the Warriors Broadcast Network. And Ben Woodruff dropped the ball behind him. I'm not sure of the ruling on that, but he's excited. He just gave a thumbs up to the camera. He is as red as his hair right now, but he is going to and he bowls, and he gets 7 pins on his first one.
Mr. Sugar, you've been making jokes all day. That was your best one.
I've been trying. Mr. Block, that one was for you. I know you are one of our dedicated listeners, and we appreciate you giving the love to the Warriors Broadcast Network. But what we need now is we need Ben Woodruff to get this spare, because Mariemont has to stay ahead. We do not want to give up a 33-pin lead in the Baker games. This is when we excel as Warriors. It's back. It's forward. It's spinning, and it did not get the last pin. I think Ben thought he got it, turned around, and then was not there with his best effort. Now, Mike, I'm going to give you a challenge here.
Okay.
Next time FInneytown has a good bowl and they chant something, can you try and figure out what they say? Because I have no idea.
I have not been. I don't know what they're saying. Probably ask maybe one of their players or coaches. But I remember last time I was doing a bowling event, after every single frame or every single strike, Mariemont team would always chant "Dilly Dilly."
Correct.
Something simple, but
It seems like they've changed that up, though. When Dylan gets it, they do say that. But when some of the other gentlemen got strikes, they didn't say as much. But we did get a spare here from Sammy. So he doesn't get that. They do say that. But when some of the other gentlemen got strikes, they didn't say as much. But
some people are, some competitors are. I mean, you've got people like, Joey Votto who never show emotion, and then you've got other players who show a lot of emotion. I feel like that's just how he plays.
Coach Barr over there looks very concerned with what's going on. He's looking from a distance, has been very hands-off most of the game, but he is he's standing there really analyzing the score, trying to figure out what he needs to tell his team going into the third Baker game. But before that, we got a lot of bowling left here, as we did pick up the spare from Banks. Banks is hoping down into the third Baker game. But before that, we got a lot of bowling left here, as we did pick up the spare from Banks. Mariemont to keep their 16-pin lead.
Now, Mr. Sugarman, what would you say Coach Barr's coaching style is like? Does he try to help his players after every time they go up, or does he kind of let them do it themselves?
I think bowling in general is a very independent sport, where I don't think you get as much in-game coaching. I think these kids work, they practice, they know what works for them and not. I think if Coach Barr were to talk to Dylan and say, do this or do that, Dylan may look at him and, say, I'm in my own mind, I know what I need to do. I think Coach Barr's style is that team building, that working together, really getting the guys excited to bowl and making some of those small strategic moves at the back end of the roster to get somebody who's hot to keep bowling.
So what you're kind of saying there is he looks at his seniors for more leadership during the matches. He wants them coaching up the other players who are more underschool or underclassmen, and he kind of tries to stay off to the side.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think if you came to practice, you would see a lot more hands-on approach of what they're really analyzing. I was talking to him about different activities and practice things they do. So one of the games they play is called one pin. So they'll bowl a game and they will try and get the lowest score possible without gutter balls. So they practice on hitting those spares in the corners and hitting the 10 pin and the 7 pin. So I think it's doing little things like that get the guys ready for these games. But during the game, I think it's more of a motivational type style. So
what you're kind of saying is it's not about going for strikes every single time you bowl. It's about doing the little things right so that way you do good in the end. It's about picking up the spares. It's about getting those points that you don't want to leave on the table.
Absolutely. I think leaving pins on the table is what ultimately is detrimental to your team's success. As you can tell with Mariemont here, they are struggling to even close. Dutro, who's been bowling extremely well, struggled this second Baker game. Woodruff also struggling. Both have failed to close out their respective frames. We look for Woodruff to get this hard spare here, and we'll see what happens. But luckily, Finneytown is not having a strong match as well. But it does appear to me that Mariemont may be coming from behind in the third game here.
Yeah, I think when you're down in any competition or on the ropes, you look for your senior leadership. You look for Stephen Banks. You look for Dylan Berger to lead your team, and then you look for your role player guys like Zach Dutro, like Ben Woodruff, and I'm not sure who the other guys' names are, to kind of help you guys on the back end, help keep your score high. You don't have to go for strikes every time you go, but get points.
Absolutely, and a huge strike there from Sammy Hinkle. Let's see if we can string a couple of these again to end the match solid here. And let's see, here's one of the senior leaders you keep talking about. He did not get enough spin there, did not get enough pins, but he's got 2 pins left. Dylan giving some pointers from the pack here. But again, Finneytown not stepping up when they needed to try and pull off this lead. It appears after 7, it was 96 to 82.
Yeah, Finneytown has just lacked that ability to shut the door on the Warriors. They won't shut it. They just keep it open, and the Warriors just keep fighting back.
82.
Yeah, Finneytown has just lacked that ability to shut the door on the
always end up losing in the end. I believe that one was I Love You, Mrs. Simpson. So I think that's a Simpson. I think that was a Simpson reference over there that we had on lane 23.
That or they just got a teacher they like.
There you go. But who knows? But what I do know is Dylan just bowled ourselves a strike here. Let's see if he can bowl a second one and end this game on a high note and see if we can keep this game attainable, as Finneytown is having a heck of a second game there compared to what Mariemont is. And Dylan got them both and was going to scream. What? Got a shout, came back, but
a little bit of a delayed reaction there.
Very delayed. I think he was still surprised that those fell down. But we need every pin. With what's going on the lane next to him, with Finneytown coming strong at the end, getting another spare there. It is.
So would you say we can't spare any pin?
We cannot spare a single pin here. And Dylan left 3 hanging there to end the game. So a 149 for Mariemont. Finneytown is bowling. Let's see what they pull off. Again, going into the second Baker game, we were up 16 points. So the best Finneytown can do right now is bowl a 143, which means Mariemont stumps them on that one as well.
Like I was talking about earlier, Finneytown just hasn't shown that ability to shut the door to end this competition. Mariemont just keeps sticking around, and when you let them do that, they will beat you.
Yeah, so it actually appears that I was wrong. That does happen once in a while. But Finneytown is at 143 with this last bowl, and they got 153 in this second match. So they gained, again, 4 pins on Mariemont. So going into the third Baker game, Mariemont is winning by 12 pins. 12 pins? It is confirmed by Coach Barr, who's going to go have a... I thought he was going to go have a chat with his team, but he is clapping from a side. He's doing some engaging. He's going to go over, look over at the JV score. He looks a little concerned, doesn't he, Michael? Yes, I would agree. He does look a little concerned over there. Yeah.
Sorry, I got pulled away by the crowd for a second.
It's okay. The crowd's going crazy over here.
The crowd is going crazy. You've got senior leaders like Zach Stith, Lucas Wilner, and JJ Tenenfeld all cheering their hearts out, wanting their Warriors to win. JJ even stole my chair, and that's pretty sad.
Well, they've been standing all afternoon, so sometimes you just need to take a seat because hang on, my friends. Okay. These last 2 Baker games are going to be crazy. I have no moments to spare. I got no pins to spare. Let's get going here for the third Baker game at Madison Bowl.
I know the Mariemont team, they work so hard practicing every single day. I just don't know if they have any time to spare at all.
They definitely don't. What amazes me, and you can see how much these kids do put in, we still have some of our female bowlers still sticking around practicing. Most practices last an hour, hour and a half. They've been here for almost 2 hours perfecting their craft.
Perfecting their game, wanting to get better. You'll love to see it.
Yeah, and what we're looking for is Ben Woodruff here to get his first mark of this of the first frame. He struggled to get the team started with a 7 and 8 in his previous 2 games, but if he can get this spare here, that's going to be a great start for this. The crowd going crazy with their silent chants, and he picks up the spare. That's exactly what we needed. Well done, starting off on a high note. And let's see if Finneytown can capitalize. And he did. We are even at the end of the first frame in the third Baker game as Mariemont leads by only 12 pins.
Lucas Wilner currently informing the broadcast team about bowling. There is seriously nothing he doesn't know about.
We did ask him that question, though, when we brought him on to the broadcast earlier, and he gave me false information. So we do appreciate him coming back, and our stat checker on the afternoon did a nice job of getting that information for us. We have a whole team here at the Warriors Broadcast Network. Not only do we have fantastic people recording the game, such as Owen, Mr. Eden, and Michael, who's doing double duty today, but we also have a whole stat department in a back corner of the bowling alley that you can't get to by camera right now, who are sitting there crunching up stats. All of the numbers I've given you tonight have been brought into my right ear through our microphones, whatever those are called. It's okay, we'll get there. But they've come in and they've been giving me great stats. Like right now, I'm getting a stat that as Stephen Banks steps up, he's going for his 5,234th pin if he gets all 10 of these right now. If not, he turned around and was not happy with that. So it looks like he left 5 standing. So he's not quite there to the 5,242. I think that was the number I got.
I thought you were a math teacher.
No, I forget the first number I said. It wasn't a matter of addition or subtraction. It was I forgot what the stat guy gave me.
Oh, we'll get him over here.
But he did pick up the spare. I don't know about you, Michael. I'm in. Subtraction. It was I forgot what the stat guy gave me.
Oh, we'll get him over here.
But he did pick up the spare. I don't know here. here. And hopefully strikes are us is coming.
I know everyone in this building is on the edge of their seat. The Mariemont student section is cheering very, very loudly. So is the FInneytown Wildcat section. They're trying to get the team going. It's going to be a great finish.
They definitely are doing that right now. I think we're getting some images of our massive crowd. Make sure you get that one group over there, Mr. No, I'm just joking. As FInneytown just picked up the split over there. Is it just me, or is this third Baker game going quickly?
Going very quickly. You can tell that both teams are playing with a high amount of pace, and they're just trying to get this game going.
All right, Dylan motivating his team. They're going. They've closed 4 out of the 5 frames. They keep picking up the spares. We need to see some strikes. And we do have the 5-pin left on lane 24. The 5-pin is the only pin remaining, which means we can go to the hand in the air to get yourself a cherry Coke. I don't know if it works when it's like not your team, but we're all here learning today, so Robbie got it, so we will not learn today. So don't forget, if you're watching this tonight, the date is Thursday, January 23rd, we are coming live from the natatorium at Mariemont High School tomorrow, as we will be broadcasting for the first time ever, to my knowledge, a swimming meet from Mariemont High School. We are extremely excited to do another new event and continue to build our repertoire of things we are just amazing at here at Mariemont High School. So come on out. We need a live audience. Nothing but fun when you are involved with Mr. Eden and the Warriors Broadcasting Network.
One interesting thing about the Mariemont swim program is today, as we were walking through school, we saw that the Hamilton County Police Department actually had their dive team at the pool. I'm sure training, working on some different scenarios. That's very interesting.
It was very interesting. I was at a meeting this morning, and I'm driving back in, and I go to where I usually park, which is down below near the pool area, and I saw probably 10 to 15 police vehicles, and I was not worried because we are very safe at Mariemont High School, and they were all vehicles that looked like they knew what they were doing. But I walked in and I saw scuba gear and I saw them training. It was truly incredible. But every good athlete, every good profession needs to keep practicing their craft, which is why we are here, and we cannot spare you any more details because we are ready to call the remainder of this game, as Sammy almost got all 10 of them. We are here, and we cannot spare you any more details because we are ready to call the remainder of this game, as Sammy there. Oh, he left it hanging. Sorry, he was in my way. So, it looks like Mariemont after 7. After 7.
Oh, we put our hands up.
It's not the right pin. After 7, Mariemont was down 7 pins, but picked up a spare here. Let's see if FInneytown can match them. FInneytown left 2 standing. This is about as exciting as it gets, my friend. Mariemont up 2 into the 8th frame, as Stephen Banks left one hanging in there with only 8 pins. We are going to be going down to the final wire here. We're going to have to track these stats live into the last game and determine who is going to win this CHL matchup between the Mariemont Warriors and the FInneytown Rolling Cats. And Banksy gets it. It also appears that FInneytown got a spare on 8 as they're stepping up for their 9th frame here. They need this if they are going to try and stick with Mariemont. And he does it one better. He gets himself a strike. Smile as he walks away. Michael at the end of 8, 119. to 119. Mariemont on a spare with Dylan Berger coming up. FInneytown stepping up on a strike with their number 5, Ravi.
Dylan Berger right there with the strike. I mean,
This is when you need the leader to come through you.
Dylan Berger currently referencing SpongeBob right there with the chant after he got a strike. You love to see it. You love to see the team getting into it, and you love to see a close matchup like we have right here, 119 to 119.
It is. Now, what's interesting is when you look at the CHL stats, Ravi, who's up here right now, he is actually ranked 6th in the CHL in average score, but he came in as the 5th bowler on their team today. I don't know if that's strategy because all points are equal, or if he's been struggling.
I would say what that would probably is, since all points are equal, you would want to have him as a good closer. All right, you're only as good as your. Never mind with that. Since he's such a great bowler, I feel like having him coming in last is just a great thing to have for your team. That way, if the guys in front of him aren't able to do good, he'll be able to come in last and he'll be able to set the mark.
Absolutely, and I was thinking as we go into the first matches, he was on the single lane. Maybe he doesn't do as well when he has to more time in between. So bowling like every other one as he does when it's a 1v1 rather than a 2v2 matchup, it really benefits. So, Mike, I don't know if you see what I see, but after the third Baker game, it was 159 to 159. We are going into the final Baker game with a 12-point advantage for your Mariemont Warriors. There is one game remaining, and it appears that they are changing the order a little as Brody is stepping in to bowl, it appears.
One thing I've noticed watching these guys bowl is when Dylan bowls, he only uses one hand to throw the ball, but when Ravi bowls, he uses two. What would you think the advantage and disadvantage would be to using one or using two?
So I think it's all in the wrist speed and the hand speed is if you're going. Is if you have strong forearm muscles and you have strong fingers, as you release that ball, you can get the spin in with the one hand. If you maybe are a little more newer to it, the two-hand approach might be very different. So both teams huddling up, getting ready. We are down to the final Baker game. 12 pins separate the Rolling Cats from FInneytown and the Mariemont Warriors of Mariemont. So, one game left. We've been here all afternoon. We're excited. You're excited. We need a 12-pin lead. We are going to match it pin by pin. We've got the camera fixated on the scores. And here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, let's hear you from all across the world, all across the universe, and all across the galaxy. This is what it comes down to. The Warriors of Mariemont versus the Rolling Cats of FInneytown. And we are started with an 8 as FInneytown steps up for their first bowl of the day. 1, 2, 3, 4, 7-step approach, spinning right down the middle, and moved a pin over, but did not knock it over. I don't know how that works, but it did. It's hanging on. It's going to knock down the other pin. Ooh, interesting.
So the pin he hit was the 9 pin. He slid it all the way over to the 8 spot. Soon as it was picked up by the machine and let down, it toppled over. Now, the 7 pin is still standing, but the 8 is down, so I'm not sure what this changes with the rule book or if they're just still
It appears they all looked to the center console, and it appears that they may go, they're running to the back. Look at those workers from Madison Bowl. It appears they are going to go put up the pin. So you and I come to bowl, I don't think they do this for us.
Yes, I don't think they would do this for us. This is definitely because these guys are competing at the top.
And as you know, every pin matters.
Every pin does matter.
Every pin matters. So it appears they are going to be setting that up. They're going to reset lane 23. And Mariemont closing the second frame. Casey Dutro needs to pick up this second bowl.
Now, Mr. Sugarman, one thing I noticed there, he put that pin back at its original spot in the 9. Why would he not put it back in the 8?
I did notice that as well. I think it's because it did not knock over.
Right.
So that is the ruling on that. But Mariemont not starting too hot here, but a split on that 8. Let's see what happens here. He did not get the spare. Hinkle with 8. It seems like the 8 show over here. We got to get it going, though. Mariemont wants to pick this up. Their two lead bowlers are coming up next with Banks and Berger. We need 2 strikes to keep this match close, as if only 12 pins separate us. There we go. Sammy gets the strike, or spare. I apologize for that one. And Banks steps up. We need this, ladies and gentlemen, from Mr. Banks. He's going to come slowly. He's going to approach. He's starting on the first line of dots, which I have no idea what that means. But stepping up, he releases it. It looks good. It's curving at the right time. And he gets the strike, ladies and gentlemen. Choo-choo and training all the way to the 5th frame. FInneytown only on their 2nd ball. If I'm Mariemont, I might slow down to see what it looks like. But FInneytown weaves an open frame just like Mariemont. It is unbelievable that no one wants to win this game. And the 10-pin does not fall for Dylan Berger. Let's see what he can pull off here. But there is your FInneytown Rolling Cats. Gets us 9 over there as Dylan missed the spare. All right, they've got 5 frames left. 65 points. We're looking over here.
Dylan Berger currently receiving some support from one of his good friends in the audience telling him just to keep going.
We'll see. What this matters is FInneytown. Can FInneytown close this 3rd frame? If they close this 3rd frame, it sets up a battle going into the end. Now, I would say this is one of the biggest bowls. Ben Woodruff coming up struggled as a number 5 to get anything. We need a big one from him. Melissa Spare here, and that goes left of center and leaves an interesting combination of the 1, 3, 10, 8. And there's another one somewhere in there, too. The 5-10. But can he pull this one off? We hope so.
This is definitely a makeable shot here.
It's off. Oh, it's looking good. Oh, he barely missed that head pin and left way too many pins standing as FInneytown is coming here, throws the ball, and gets one standing there. All right, Mr. Dutro needs to get back to what he was doing well, and that is strikes are us right now. Looking good, but did not end well.
Now, Mr. Sugarman, I've noticed when everyone else, or when a lot of the people here are bowling, they always try to put a spin on the ball to make it go from all the way to the right side, almost in the gutter, to barreling back left. Why would you say they want to do that rather than just throw it straight down the pipe?
I think it's physics.
Physics?
I do. I think with the curve, as it coming in and hitting on the side, I think it splatters the pins more than if you hit straight on.
Should we get Dr. Radloff in here to explain that?
I think we absolutely need to. But FInneytown seems to be taking the cake here. I think Mariemont needs to step their game up here to end this, and this would be a huge get, but unfortunately doesn't. If I had to be the forever optimist, which I'm here, I think Mariemont needs to strike out.
Strike. I think it's very doable. You've got good bowlers coming up. It's definitely possible.
I don't know about you, but I'm nervous. Got it. That's what Sammy needed. He came up with it. I don't know about you, but I'm nervous. Got it. That's what Sammy needed. I appreciate that.
Now we got Steven Banks coming up here. You know he's going to do something great.
Oh, and he left himself a terrible split. This is the
7-9 split.
7-9 split. That's a hard one. But again, there's a 12-pin cushion. All they have to do is get one more pin than FInneytown to win. And after, it depends on what happens here, but he might get this. Oh, almost. Good attempt here. It comes down to Captain Berger. 3 strikes, helps his team, gets him close. If FInneytown leaves that open, they did. They gave Mariemont a hope in here, as after 7 frames, it was 81-94, 13 pins, and Dylan waves himself the 7-10 split. Dylan not happy with himself. The team upset as well.
Dylan throws a gutter ball left.
And that will do the game for Mariemont. They are hoping.
Dylan definitely frustrated with himself, being consoled right now by Steven Banks.
He is. So
He's a
when
great
you look at
competitor.
the scores, Mariemont ends with a 117 over here. As it appears, FInneytown, let's see what they do. But Mariemont up 12 points. That means what we're looking for is anything less than a 129
Currently, FInneytown's score is at a 94.
plus 9.
Plus 9, sorry.
So they're 103. And we will see what we can do here. We need him to miss this pin in order to have a chance as we go forward. He bowls. It's got to spin. And he does knock it in. And it appears that FInneytown will win this matchup. As we said, it comes down to the Baker games. And in the Baker games, there just was not enough today in order to keep them. Team looks heartbroken. Team looks upset. But I think they left it all out here today.
I do too. I think Mariemont, they came back every single time that they were down, coming up just a little short in the end. But it's something to build off of. Every single game you play, it's something to build off of. I think what they need to do is look at what they did wrong, correct that, look at what they did right, try to improve on that even more, and just try to continue working harder and harder to come back. I think what they need to do is bowl with a little bit of a slower pace, so that way they don't get too caught up in the moment.
You're good. You're good, guys.
All right, FInneytown trying to close out the 9th frame here. He's back. FInneytown's team all surrounding him. He gets the ball in and gets it. FInneytown finishing strong, and that officially does it here at Madison Bowl, as the FInneytown Wildcats have done just enough in the and that does it, ladies and gentlemen. Unfortunately, that does do it here at Madison Bowl, as they will be bowling at least a 138 today, which is more pins. They're up 9, actually. And let's see if they can add on to that. And they win by 10 pins. Actually, is that tied? We might have a tie. It is. I think we have a tie here at Madison Bowl. They won by 12 pins. I think we got ourselves a tie. They won by 10.
They won by 10 pins, sorry. Well, even though it is a losing effort at the end of the day, and even though me and Mr. Sugarman do not know what the score is, you love to see the teams at the end of the game shaking hands, congratulating each other on a good game. Mariemont, they've got stuff to build off of. They played well. They have some minor stuff that they got to clean up. Senior leader Stephen Banks is currently holding a meeting to talk about the game.
Absolutely, and that does it here from Madison Bowl. I am Brian Sugarman, along with my co-host Michael Ryan, and it's been fun. Thanks for being with us today. We'll be back for another edition of Warriors Broadcast Network tomorrow from the pool with ICRC TV, and we can't wait to keep broadcasting all of our sports live to you, our beloved fans.
Thank you, everybody.
Have a good night.